Coronavirus, Lagos advocates precautionary measures in schools. Now, it's a very good thing to hear about this. The Lagos state government is trying as much as possible to put in place precautions and every measure possible in order to limit the possibility of an outbreak of coronavirus in Lagos. And of course, some of you might be thinking, why are you worrying about that? Why are you disturbing yourself about that? This is Nigeria. The reason is because Lagos is still the main place where people get into this country from outside. So many people that went to China, so many people that went to other places that might have contracted this disease are going to be coming through Lagos. So there's a high chance for people to get that disease in Lagos if there's any infected person that comes into Lagos. And in case you don't know, the coronavirus can be transmitted without symptoms. So even somebody that has gotten the disease in the time of the inoculation period, that is when you've already had the virus in your system and it has not awakened and started causing problem, you could still spread the disease. So even when you are asymptomatic, you could spread the disease. Somebody might not be having the flu, somebody might not be coughing, somebody might not have any of the symptoms that you know with coronavirus. And as long as the disease is in the person's body before the person starts to exhibit all of those symptoms, he or she could still spread the disease. So there is a very high chance that so many people would have gotten the disease before anybody even knew anything about it. So that's the problem. Now, and there is a very complicated part to it, is that it does not even matter how much you clean your hands, how much you do all those things. Those things are going to help, probably going to help you to prevent other diseases. But the problem is this thing is airborne. It's freaking airborne. So if you are staying in the same room as somebody that has it and the person coughs, you're all going to have it. That's the problem. There's a huge chance you all are going to have it. So there lies the conundrum. So as much as you may try to wash your hands and everything like that, this thing is airborne. Coughing around you, sneezing, all sorts of things like that, huge chance you might get it. And for those that they're not so sure why they're talking about schools primarily, especially boarding school, this is because if any one of you has ever gone to a boarding school, you attended a boarding school, you would know outbreaks are common. While I was in school, we had this conjunctivitis outbreak, so many outbreaks, mumps, whatever, all sorts of things like that. These things happen when you have people in close proximity to one another. It happens. And imagine what is going to happen if somebody, just one person, has the coronavirus in a school. It's going to spread like wildfire, like seriously. So that's the reason. So I see the reason why they're talking about it. I see the reason why Lagos is trying to take decisions and trying to take action as soon as possible. So it's better to overreact than to underreact, as they say. So, but let's just check a couple of updates so you can see how horrible and how people are taking this thing so seriously outside of Nigeria. So you wouldn't see or think that this thing is being an overreaction. So just check about this. Check this. It says Kuwait Airways suspends flights to Iran over coronavirus. Just let's keep going. Airways are getting suspended. Flights are getting suspended over the virus. Coronavirus could cost international airlines billions because there's so much quarantines around. Some people don't allow you to get into the country. Some nations wouldn't allow people from some other nations to get into their own country, like from China. Transport is getting a whole lot of downturn right now. So the international airlines are going to be having so much issues right now because of so many quarantines around the world. Every country is trying to be as careful as possible. Now, US health officials issue coronavirus-related travel advisory to Japan. That is, Japan should be very careful about traveling and people coming into their nation. You see, it's very serious. People are taking this thing very serious. So there's no overreaction about it. Let's keep going. You see, China claims it has taken prudent action during coronavirus outbreak, which is basically a lie because China lies. China has always lied. One of the reasons why the thing is this serious is because China lied about it, trying to protect the image of the government. They don't want to be painted in bad light. That's one of the reasons. The thing had already been out, causing so much problems before China mentioned it. So that's the reason. The first doctor that mentioned anything about it, was almost prosecuted in a way, as I understand it. So China lies, don't trust China. Now, US health experts are part of the team investigating coronavirus outbreak in China. You see, international, internation trying to figure out a way out for this thing because it's a threat to the entire human race. It's a threat to the entire human race. Nobody has human system strong enough to withstand this thing. If you get it, it's going to do a number on you. You might survive it through treatment, but it's going to do a number on you. So it's very terrible. So let's keep going. And honestly, one of the reasons why I say China lies is that if you've ever listened to some of the issues happening between the Chinese and also the Hong Kong people, the people at Hong Kong, the Hong Kong protesters, you understand? The reason why the Hong Kong protesters are resisting China is because China is a communist dictatorship. China is not a nice place to be. There's no freedom of thought in China. You have to be very careful. You have to keep your head low in China. It's very easy for those of us in Africa to fantasize about China, but it's horrible. So again, you have plane carrying evacuees from Wuhan arrives in Ukraine and prompts local protest. People are protesting in Ukraine. Why would you bring people from China, especially Wuhan, into our nation? See, protesting. People are taking this thing very seriously. So Nigeria has to take it very seriously. So, and then you have more and more of that. So for you to just realize it's not overreacting. So no problem. Thank you very much for this, and make sure you subscribe, and be seeing you guys in the next video.